Alright, so in this video I'm going to discuss my plan for the Rainfly and stove jack setup for the wall tent. So, first of all, it's a 10 by 20 foot tent, and the tarp I'm using as my Rainfly is 20 by 30 feet. So, the 20 foot section will be spread over the roof so that, you'll have about 5 feet of overhang on either side. And then the 30 foot section will run along the length of the roof with most likely about 3 feet of overhang on this side and 7 feet of overhang on this side. And that'll give me a nice little area where I can stack wood, maybe put a chair, just have a nice area where stuff is kept out of the rain here. Theoretically anyway, I know it's kind of a wet spot where I'm going to be putting the tent up, but I might even opt to extend this pallet floor out in this direction, maybe with a little gap here. And that should keep everything up off the wet ground. So, the first step would be to not have the wood stove piping up yet, because we're going to have to cut a hole for it in the tarp. On the top of the tent, there's what's called a stove jack. It's a hole that you can push your chimney for your wood stove through. Jasmine, I'm trying to make a video, buddy. Yeah, so it's a hole you can put the chimney through for your wood stove. Now, what I'm going to do is after I get the tarp up there, I'm going to put an X where the stove jack is, and I'm going to cut a U-shaped hole in that section. So, imagine this is my tarp right here. It's already installed over the tent. There's the center line, the roof ridge. So what I'll do is, to demonstrate approximately where the hole is going to be cut, I'll just drag this right here. Let's say the stove jack is right in the middle here, and I cut the flap here to be the same size. Now, I'd like to be able to roll that up and tie a rope to it so it'll stay rolled up for while the stove is being used and have the chimney sticking up through. However, if there's just a flap, then I'm not going to be able to tie it to anything, because once you get that rolled up all the way, there's no overhang, nothing to attach rope to. So instead of just leaving it like that, I'm going to cut a larger piece of tarp. Just imagine this is a full rectangle here. No, Jasmine. And I'm just going to glue it to this flap. So it's going to be wider as well as a little bit longer. So instead of having that, it's going to be bigger. And since it's not really attached right here, actually, yeah, let me add a couple lines to demonstrate that. So, yeah, it would actually look a little bit more like that. So when I roll this up, I can actually tie it off. So once it's all rolled up, this is what you would be. This is what you would be seeing. So that's the rolled up section of tarp. And then that's the hole in the stove jack for the chimney to be coming through. And at that point, I can feed the chimney through and it'll look something like that. Oh, Jasmine's really pulling all the hits with the noise, whining and barking and slurping. I think she's got a good sense of humor, honestly. All right, so as for tie-offs, I have many T-posts I can pound into the ground and tie it off with ropes. as for creating this center ridge that extends past the tent roof, what I'm going to have to do is drive a big post into the ground right here, and then cut down a couple of trees where I have nice Y-shaped branching at the top, and then I'll attach that tree, that branch, to the metal post I already have pounded into the ground, whether I tie it or screw it to the post, and then it extends up into the air. Y is right about here. Then I can run my rope across the ridge of the tent, top of the roof here, and then I'll have the same thing on the other side. There's a post going to the ground with a branch tied to it, Y right here. That way I can run that rope underneath the tarp and through the Y, then down and tie it either to an additional post or perhaps even just wrap it around the post at the bottom that the branch is tied to. Probably go that route to save on posts. And then, yeah, that'll give me a nice line to rest the tent on top of. And what that also will allow me to do is I want to have the posts far enough away from the tent that the angle created at the roof here is a little bit more obtuse than the angle of the roof of the tent roof itself. That way I'll have a slightly more gradual slope, and there will be able to be air between the top of the rain fly, or underneath the rain fly and the top of the tent roof, just to discourage any mildew from growing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just getting it up there, marking where the stove jack is, cutting that out, adding another piece of tarp there, rolling that up, then securing it to the top of the tent roof, adding my my big post with the branch to run my ridge line going across with rope, and yeah, tying everything off, keeping it tight, and then after that I can run my stove chimney through it and set that up. And oh yeah, one nice thing is that once it's warm enough, come springtime, I can take my chimney out and then I can roll that right back up. I'm sorry, I can unroll this and then it'll sit like that again. And then the rain just goes right off the side. Don't have any rain at all hitting my tent roof whatsoever, making sure that lasts a long time. So that's the plan for now. I'm not sure if this is something I'm going to do right when I set the tent up initially, or I think it would probably be better to let the ground thaw before I'm pounding multiple posts into the ground. Plus, I really don't have to worry about rain until it gets a little warmer, at least substantial rain. Plus, I do have a rain cap for my chimney. Not that that's going to help with rain on the roof, but I'm not really too worried about rain on the roof until it actually gets warm out. So we'll get this all good and installed.